I know what you're thinking.
Two of the stars of, the two lead stars of the completely made-up adventures of Dick Turpin, Noel Fielding, who plays Dick Turpin, and Hugh Bonneville, who plays Jonathan Wild. How are you both today?
Very good. Nice to talk to you.
Lovely to talk to you. We're good, thank you.
So, Noel, what made you want to take on this part and executive produce this series?
The costumes, mainly. The silk blouses, the fly-high boots. The fact that I get to ride a very small horse is always fun. And the fact that I got to play opposite Hugh Bonneville. That was an enormous boon for me.
Keep talking, you're saving my life.
Once I knew Hugh Bonneville was going to be the thief taker, I was so in. But yeah, no. There's an Adam Ant video in the 80s where he sort of plays a fashion version of Dick Turpin, and that was quite a big inspiration for this series. So we knew it was going to be a comedy so that we could reimagine the character. So it felt like the 18th century felt like a great backdrop for a comedy. So, and it's a big ensemble cast. So there's some brilliant comedians in there.
Very brilliant comedians. So many comedians, I was absolutely amazed at who popped up. So the fact that you were able to get them, I mean, if you can get Diane Morgan, you can get anybody.
Oh, she is so brilliant. I didn't have any scenes with Diane Morgan, and I was absolutely furious. I was thinking, what have I done? It's like, she's one of my comedy heroes, and so, yeah, I was gutted I had no scenes with her. But,
so what was the boon for Hugh Bonneville in taking this part?
The boom, or the boon, what?
The boon.
The boon.
Yeah, why did I do it?
The mighty boon, you might say.
The mighty boon. The mighty boon. Well, as always, it's the script or the cast, depending which order your desperation is. But the dynamic of having Noel as Dick Turpin was a shoe-in, and but also I love the relationship with Christopher the son. The idea that this nefarious character has to take his son to business meetings in the dead of night or in grimy taverns, I thought was just a lovely comedic beat, and the whimsy and the silliness of it all, and the fact that it's just pure fun was really what attracted me.
I really enjoyed it too. It's not quite Downton. It's more. It felt a little bit closer to me to another piratical part you played about 12 years ago. Henry Avery, obviously.
Oh right, okay, yes, in Doctor Who, yeah.
And he had a son too. How could I forget?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So, what was the most fun part of being chained to Noel for an entire episode?
I think being unchained at the end of each day, probably. But actually, no, it was quite a bonding experience for obvious reasons that we were in close proximity, and he has wonderful breath. But actually, I suppose a seminal moment was jumping off a bridge and discovering that actually we were both as nervous as each other on this precipice that we had to leap off into the unknown and trust that the wires were going to hold and that the stuntmen weren't lying.
There's a moment when you're standing on a bridge 40 feet up where you just think this is a conspiracy. This is definitely a way to get rid of us both. So we were scared. And I looked down and there's a guy holding the wire, and it was Paddington.
If either of you had a gang, what would you want them to be called and why? A criminal gang. Not like a gang, not like, a gang, but like like the gangs in the series,
Yeah.
With the matching outfits.
Wow, gang. Well, the gang in the show they're called the Essex Gang, which is not the greatest title for a gang, is it?
I'd probably call mine the Pineapple Gang because they're sort of they're fruity, but they've got spikes.
That sounds about right.
Perfect.
I absolutely adored the show. And I'm looking forward, if there's a series 2, I'm looking forward to seeing people really enjoy the show just as much as I did. It was wonderful. The writing was just perfect, spot on. No, you're magnificent in the series, but you always are. And Hugh, you just, the relationship with Jonathan and Christopher was just lovely. And I really enjoyed the beat where he's stuck trying to get the door open in the bullion thing, trying to unlock all the doors and just
That's fun.
yeah. It's the little things. It's the little things that really make it work. So thank you so much.
Thank
The
you.
Completely Made Up Adventures of Dick Turpin is going to be on Apple TV Plus, early March. This has been Noel Fielding and Hugh Bonneville. All right. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you.
Take care.